we move on to the Zaporizhzhia front. So this is Zaporizhzhia city, and this is the Zaporizhzhia front. Only until here. There's three sectors. There's Kayamsky sector, the Orikhiv sector, and the Huyai sector. This is Huyai sector, and there is fighting reported in the Kayamsky as well as the Orikhiv sector, as well as Huyai a little bit. Over the Kayamsky sector, the Russian forces are attacking in the area of Lukhove as well as towards Shebaki. So this is being reported. However, there is a geolocation of Ukrainian forces along this tree line, so there is some clarification of the front line in favor of the Ukrainians. However, these are probably just probing attacks, and these reports are pretty new. This is the latest on the last 24 hours. This one is the earlier. So you can see that the Russians attack on the 21st and then 22nd, they attack here. So the idea is just to keep the Ukrainians guessing where the main offensive is going to come, and also to probe to see where the weak point is. And over at the Orikhiv sector, this is the Orikhiv sector. Major frontline changes happens over here, but in essence, the Russians are attacking towards Orikhiv. They are attacking in the northeastern part of Kopani. Fighting continues in Robotine, fighting in the west of Verbove, at Verbove, northwest of Verbove, towards Mala Tomashka, at Luhivske. So if you look at this, it's a major offensive action across the entire front over at this Orikhiv sector. And if we zoom into the Robotine Verbove region, this advances is based on Russian mapping. The pro-Russian source Ryba basically mapped that the Russians have taken the southern part of Robotine. They have taken part of taken this, and they extended and continue to expand their control over in the southeastern part of Robotine, and even reach the road and the major entrenchments in the western part of Verbove, and also taken a huge chunk in the northwestern part of Verbove. So this is a major advancement if Ryba's reporting is accurate. The Ukrainian mapping have not acknowledged most of this. The only one that Deep State UA has acknowledged is over here. This is the only one that the Deep State UA has acknowledged. And the only geolocation that we can confirm is over here. This actually confirms some change in terms of the front line in the yesterday. So most of these major changes, actually all these big changes comes in the past 24 hours. The news just came out over the past 24 hours. Yesterday there wasn't this much change. So so this is the front line change. The Ukrainians are counterattacking over Robotine region, but this is about all of the counterattack by the Ukrainians. The Russians are on a heavy offensive, and it looks like within the next few days we might see the Russians take Robotine and the entire northern part, this entire entrenchment, that the part of the Surovikin line will be taken. The another thing is that given the speed of the advance, if the Russian claims are correct, the Ukrainian forces definitely in this area is routed. So if they are routed, then we might see trouble for the Ukrainians to re-establish a second line of defense if they do not have reinforcement coming in to help them to hold the line, because forces that are routed have no will to fight. They will need some time to rest or have some encouragement by having more men to accompany them in the new defensive line. So but given the speed of the advance, I think the Russians are doing something very akin to we see at the Battle of Adievka, where the lines have broken. Suddenly there's this flood of Russian soldiers just taking positions after positions. I think this is something that we might be witnessing over this Robotine region. And so we will continue to monitor and see how this progress over at the Orikhiv sector of the Zaporizhzhia front. And of course, it's always important to note of these probing attacks across these lines. These three attacks is all reported on the 20th. So definitely it's just one off, but definitely it puts pressure on the Ukrainians in terms of reinforcement, because they might be sending forces down. Suddenly the Russians attack in all these different sectors, which means that the Ukrainians have to be redeployed to pay attention to all these new attacks. and this definitely have hampered the reinforcement to the frontline regions. So that's all for this area. We move into the Huaypole sector. Over the Huaypole sector, there was only one attack being reported. The Russian Defense Ministry reported the Ukrainians attack towards Novozatopil. So this is the only one that we see over this area here, and this one is kind of weird because based on the Russian reports, the way how they wrote is that they repelled a counter attack near Novozatopil, which means that there is a Russian attack somewhere around here because they call it a counter attack. So it's interesting to see them say that. We will continue to see how this progress, and that's all for the Zaporizhzhia front.